Converted on here. Oh, good. The Beat by Alan Parr. This continuing talk with Frank Turek, where Frank pretends to answer questions from people, and the in the most incoherent way possible. But if you believe in the insanity that Frank does, then you too can try to make sense of these sort of things. So, anyways, let's listen in, and I'll interject.
And then even if the nation as a whole was guilty, can we really say that every single person in that, I mean, like, babies haven't done anything wrong. I mean, every single person in that nation is evil and deserves to die, just because maybe there were some evil people that did some things. And so, I mean, it seemed like God is kind of contradicting himself.
Yeah, great question. And again, when an atheist asks me this question on a college campus, the question I'm always going to ask back is, by what standard are you judging God to be wrong?
So his first tactic when asked the question is to not answer the question and instead ask a question back, because that is not fair. That's not a fair tactic. That's not a way to go about conversation. Oh, hey, Deacon Man, how's it going? Well, where do you come off with that sort of question? Huh? Wait, what? It's like, can you answer the question first? It's going fine. Now I can ask you something. It's like, how do you justify X? Well, how do you justify X? It's really messed up. Now, what if it's not an atheist? It's funny that he assumes it's an atheist asking this question. What if somebody from a different religion, a different belief system, maybe not a religion, but maybe they just believe in a God, and they ask this question? Why is it that when I read the Bible, Frank, why is it that your particular God commits what I consider to be atrocities? I mean, my God in my book doesn't do this. My book, the God there says don't kill anyone, and then never has anyone killed. There's never anyone ever killed in my book by God or by directive of God. Everybody is told not to do that. In fact, how is it that your God's doing this? That's revolting according to my God. Then what would Frank say? Well, what standard do you judge by? Oh, right, my God's standard. Well, how do you know your God's real? How do you know your God's real? And back and forth, and they would never get anywhere, because that's irrelevant to the question's answer. Is forget about what system I'm using to judge God. I'm asking, how do you explain that this is okay? What's your answer to that question? Not to deflect it back on me and shift the burden back to me, but to answer the question honestly. I'm saying, look, I can't get past this first bit of the Bible. God's immediately throwing temper tantrums. He's kicking people out of paradise for doing just about nothing. He's, judging them. He's doing all these weird things, and he's killing people. Sodom and Gomorrah was utterly destroyed. Then there's this giant flood that kills everybody. And it's like, how do you justify that madness? And Frank's answer is, well, how do you justify it?
Because again, if there's no God, it's just your personal opinion. You might not like what goes on in the Old Testament, but it's not objective. It's just in you, the subject. Unless there's a standard beyond us, everything's just a matter of opinion.
In your opinion. This is such a weak, pathetic tactic to rely upon, Frank. You think that your ethical system is so strong that it cannot withstand critical scrutiny and questions? All you have is DCT. That's it. That's your ethical system. is divine command theory. That's it, Frank. That's your system. And anybody with any other divine thing, whatever they call it, God or Jehovah or Shiva or whatever, they're going to have the same exact system. So if one God system says it's objective to kill you because you're not part of our system, and the other God system says don't do that, who's right? Who's right? How would you ever determine? Because you both think that you have an objective system. But even if it's just my opinion, okay, and show me how it's not wrong. Oh, because it's your opinion. It's just your opinion that it's wrong. Okay, it's my opinion. And it's still wrong. So how do you explain how it's not wrong? Show me how, because it's your opinion, so nothing's right or wrong. No, it's wrong in my view, so explain to it. It's just so pathetic. It's such a weak, underhanded, lackluster, presuppositional sort of wannabe tactic. It's just really sad.
But secondly, I would ask the question, can God murder anyone?
Well, since murder's defined by illegal killing, if God's under laws, then yes. If God's not under laws, then no. The only thing God could do is kill people, I suppose. But we're not going to get that technical with language, are we, Frank?
In other words, when God kills somebody, if he exists and he created us, when he kills somebody, is that murder?
It's killing, absolutely.
And the answer is no. Why? Because God is the creator of life and he's the only one that can resurrect it. Look.
That's irrelevant. So, are you really telling me? I see you, Rudolph, being the Poe. Stop it. Are you really telling me, Frank, that it's okay to kill somebody as long as you can bring them back to life? Or is that what you're telling me? So there's ways to do that. Medically induced coma, and they're pretty close to death, if not outright death. But as long as we can bring you back, that would be fine by you? Would that be okay? So, no, I'm just saying, like, we could put you, give you a shot, knock you out, get you to a hospital, secret underground hospital with the specialized doctors that are, being paid under the table and all this, because we run a secret organization to do this, whatever. And we drug induce you into a coma for 5 years. But after 5 years, we bring you out of it and you're restored to normal and you're free to go. And that's okay because we brought you back, right? We killed you effectively for 5 years, but we brought you back. So it's okay. Is that what you're saying, Frank? It's okay as long as you can bring back the person once you kill them. So if I stab you, that's fine as long as I can repair the stab wound. How does that work in your idea, Frank? It's justified because, yeah, sure, it can kill you, but also it can bring you back to life. Oh, okay. But I still felt the pain of being killed. And also, are those people coming back to life? No, they stay dead. So even though God has supposedly the power to bring them back, it doesn't matter. They're still dead. And if they're being killed because they were bad people, then I suppose not only are they dead and staying dead, but they're going to hell if you believe in that, and they're getting more punishment there. So how does any of this justify anything or answer the question how this makes it okay? Oh, because God made you, so it can unmake you. Why is it that making something allows you to unmake it? What gives it the right to do that? Oh, because we're property, right? Is that going to be the answer?
Look, if Christianity's true, and it is, then when people die, they don't really die. They just change location. They go from this life into the next life.
Wait a minute. I'm almost sure I've covered this video before. I've heard this before. Maybe I have. I don't know. It's all blending together at this point.
It's up to God when that happens.
Yeah,
right?
whatever.
God can take us out at 82 or 2. It's up.
God's an asshole. Got it. Okay, so rather than explaining how it's okay for God to kill all these people in the Old Testament, it's basically God can do whatever it wants because it's God. Well, yeah, it has the ability to do so, but that doesn't make it okay. Just because it has the power to do it, that doesn't make it okay to do it, does it? Or are you saying that might makes right? You know, if you assemble it, you can disassemble it. Is that really your motif? So I know that Rudolph here, he loves to pretend that he's a Christian. He's not, but But at any rate, okay, so yeah, it's like if you glue a plastic car or plane or whatever, and then you don't like the result, you're free to scrap it. Yeah, but that thing isn't sentient, right? And also, actually, according to Frank, no, because you didn't actually make the model car. You're borrowing all the parts from God. God actually provided all the component parts of the car. So you don't have any right unless God gives you the right to do it, or something nonsensical like that. It's just so crazy. Frank is an asshole. That makes sense because his God's an asshole. Usually the God reflects the sort of person that you are. So he's letting God get away with all these atrocities because he is able to justify it. God made us, so God can do whatever it wants. And that's the sort of person that Frank is. Now, I don't think that's right. I think it's wrong. Even if you make something from scratch, that doesn't give you the ability to just do whatever you want. You're still wrong when you do something bad.
Up to him, because he's the creator of life and he's the sustainer of life and he's the only one that can resurrect life. So what might be immoral for us because we're not God is not immoral for God. In fact, God.
Yeah, so it's special pleading. So that's it. So it's using special pleading makes it okay. God can do whatever. God doesn't have to follow its own orders or its commandments. But we're told that God is holy, yet its actions don't line up to what we consider moral and holy. So it's like, well, then it has to be amoral. It can't be moral. It can't be a moral creature if it's under no obligation to follow morals. So it's an amoral creature. So God has amorals. It's allowed to do whatever the hell it wants, and it forces people to do what it wants because that's the sort of creature it is. Right, Frank?
Kills. If God exists, God... and he sustains all life. He kills all of us at some point, right? I mean, right. He pulls his hand away from us. Is that murder for him? No. It's just the natural transition that we all take from this life to the next life. Now, the questions about, the Canaanite killings in the Old Testament. The other question we need to ask is, when God decided that the Canaanites needed to be driven from the land, was that arbitrary or did he have reasons for that? Well, if you read the text, he had reasons, right?
But it doesn't matter. You just said, Frank, it doesn't matter. God doesn't need any reasons to do anything. He doesn't need justification. He can just do it, right? So what does it matter what the justification is? It's God. It doesn't need any justification. It can just do it. And who are we to question God? It's like, I'm doing it. It's like, I'd really rather you not. Too bad I did it. Okay, well, there's nothing I can do about that. I guess, because you just have all this power. It's so stupid. Come on,
400
Frank.
years of iniquity from the Canaanites that was not complete until that time. And
they were so bad. Why didn't you go in there and talk to them? Why didn't you sit down with them and have a cup of tea and be like, dudes, look, man, you guys what you're doing, it doesn't make sense. All right. Why didn't you do something? You're God. The only thing you can think of to do is sit back and watch while they're doing all these terrible things and be like, yeah, well, that's enough of that. It's time to kill them now. But it's interesting is that lasted for however long. And people use that and go, well, God's going to punish, remember this, God's going to punish USA for allowing homosexual marriage or whatever. It's like, oh, yeah, when did that happen? Well, later on, we got attacked. That was the punishment. Oh, really? Okay. But why wasn't it immediate? It's just, well, because God's long suffering. It'll wait a while. So eventually, at some point, your city, your nation, whatever, will be attacked. And then, after however long, we can just say, well, that's the punishment that God dished out. If we wait long enough, something bad will eventually happen to you, and then we can just say, God did it. Isn't that great? We just have a completely unfalsifiable system. It's so stupid, Frank. Come on.
Canaanites were not only involved in all sorts of evil sexual practices, they were also involved in literally sacrificing their children to Molech.
Yeah, and I have done this video. I'm almost sure of it. Oh my word! Whatever. You know what? If I have. Whatever. There's nothing new under the sun. So what? Oh wait, no, I did do this. No, yeah. Moloch came up with Pastor in the Hell video, didn't it? Oh wow, I'm getting everything blended together in my brain. But anyways, so what? They believe that Moloch was right, and they believe that Moloch's their god, and that Moloch's commanding them to do these things, and they would use the same justification as you, Frank. Oh, it's okay because God said it's okay. God told us to do it, so that's why we're doing it. And then it's fine. If God tells you to kill your firstborn, you kill your firstborn, Frank. That's what you do. You can't say that God won't do it because God has done it. He told people to kill their kids. Oh, well, but that's different. No, it's not. Frank, you're an asshole. Your God's an asshole. But beyond being an asshole, because you could be an asshole and still be right, you're not right. You haven't demonstrated that you're right. You gave no valid or sound argument at all. You didn't even approach it. Your reasoning is incoherent, as is your belief. Anyways, so yeah. All right. Well, that's it for now, I guess. And there's other stuff to pick at, I suppose. So until next time, whatever. I don't know. Finn. That's all I got. Rudolph is trying to confuse me with now, Rudolph, you've been a Poe forever. I know you're not a Catholic. Stop messing with me. You're not. Come on. Stop messing around. All right. Later.